Hey guys, just a quick video. I finally found the High Evolutionary. This is one of the bad guys that I was looking for in the this Fantastic Four line from Hasbro. It's new. So out of this set you get the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, Invisible Girl, or Visible Woman, Human Torch, and then Psychoman, which is very interesting as a character to choose to have as part of this wave. I feel like maybe they could have done the Mole Man or something, but and then High Evolutionary, which is weird as I don't feel he's a Fantastic Four villain or anything. I think in the 90s there was in a crossover called the Evolutionary War, and he was one of the key figures in that. It's like an annual crossover. But yeah, I remember reading the crossover and then keep seeing this guy, and to have him as a figure, it's kind of interesting. I mean, but I never foresee him as a Fantastic Four villain. That's just my thing. We're gonna open him up. Alright, this is all you get, just the figure and then two hands. Okay, you get an open like hand here, and then an extra fist. He already come equipped with a fist and an open hand, so obviously you can swap it out how you like, two-fisted or two open-handed. Or one of each, as I actually prefer. I think this is actually just fine how it is. This is like a typical Marvel Legend figure, so he's actually has all the articulation you would come to expect. He does have pinless technology on his arm, so no pins there, and pinless technology on his legs or knees. So that's kind of cool. See, under his skirt, he is just all red plastic. Okay, take a close look at his face. He kind of reminds me of the Vision a little bit. Yeah, so like I said, it reminds me of the Evolutionary War, and it's kind of cool to have him as a figure. It's interesting choice. I don't know if it's the first figure of his kind. I don't think I've ever seen another action figure made for the High Evolutionary. Since we're at it, let's take a look at Psychoman. This is designed by Jack Kirby originally. Fantastic Four Annual number 5. And because it's Jack Kirby, it is some crazy design. It's impractical almost. I mean, he got these rings around his feet, which kind of obstruct the way he can pose. He's a very big and short figure, it looks like, and it carries around this this box that says fear, doubt, and hate. And obviously he can manipulate your feelings. But yeah, Psychoman, he's a psycho. Yeah, it's an interesting choice, again, as a villain, or Fantastic Four villain. We got the Human Torch, translucent red plastic, which it comes out very nice. You can kind of see him as the light is shown through him. And then he also comes with some extended flames and extra hands, I think. But that flame is permanently sculpted on his head. I would have preferred one without the flames, or maybe even have the option of a removable flame, like you can take it off. There's a little like peg or something you can peg in his head. He does have pins on his arm, but I think that's just the nature of these translucent plastic. They're, anyway, we do have Johnny Storm released earlier, but not as a full, torch mode. So this is kind of cool to have. I like the transparent transparent plastic, so translucent plastic. Okay, Sue Storm. Yeah, the new sculpt for her head. She looks great. I think it's more comic book accurate versus the previous version that we got, which is, I don't know what it was. I think it's a more modern version. This is obviously inspired by the Jack Kirby design, and she comes with an invisible shield, which she's holding right here, and you can only do that on the open hand, so you can't have a fist in there. She does come with fists and stuff like that, extra hands. I don't really like those extra hands and feet or whatever, so I kind of just toss them all in a box somewhere. It's the same female body that you've come to expect and love from the Marvel Legends figure. So yeah, Sue Storm, Invisible Girl. Sorry if I keep calling her Invisible Girl. That's how I know her. I know people are calling her Invisible Woman. Apologies to womankind. We got the Thing. I absolutely love this figure. I think they did a fantastic job. Obviously, it's recycled from previous things that we've gotten from Marvel Legends, but this one has more comic book head sculpt. He did come with extra hands and fisted hands, two fisted hands and two open hands, which I think the fist might be new, or no, the open hand might be new. I'm not sure, but the head, definitely, the head sculpt is definitely new. So even though he's a lot of plastic, we still got two extra heads. So let me show him a little closer to the camera here with his head. Let me focus. So yeah, he's gritting his teeth. He does have a open mouth head, which I kind of find creepy. I don't actually really like it. You can't, I don't know. I might put glue and just paste his mouth closed, like you know, just super glue his mouth like this, so he looks like he's like kind of grimacing, or kind of, you know, not grinning, but you know, the opposite of grinning, frowning. But yeah, okay, so here's the thing with the Thing. I've always kind of the quintessential artist for the Thing was George Perez, and that's only because I know he's a Jack Kirby design, but what happened is when Jack Kirby left Marvel, there was a few artists that took over, including Romita Sr. and Bishima, and then eventually it landed on Richard Buckler. And what happened is Rich actually took on too much work, and so he actually hired an assistant whose name is George Perez, and kind of gave George his first working assignment. And obviously George did the that Deathlock first appearance of Deathlock, and then he kind of helped Buckler with the Fantastic Four. Now, many of the Buckler issues, George was actually uncredited because he actually did, you know, a lot of background stuff, background art and stuff like that. And then what happened is Buckler gave the assignment to George, and then George kind of just took over drawing Fantastic Four. And you know, that's the first time that Stan Lee noticed the artist working on Fantastic Four, and kind of met George Perez. And George was a huge fan of Stan Lee at the time. And then what happened is George also got he was working on so many titles, but he also got like Marvel Toon One, which was kind of it pit the Thing with a team up with various Marvel heroes, and he was teaming up with some weird characters, B-list characters, C-list characters, but just following George's work on the Thing, I've always felt that he drew the best Thing, and so whenever I think of the Thing, I always think of George Perez doing the the Thing. But yeah, again, I think actually this open mouth one might actually be very close to some of the George design or art. I don't know whose art they took inspiration from, but obviously a little Jack Kirby here and there. But I'm thinking they also took some artwork from George Perez, so you got this nice head sculpt for the Thing. All right, so I'm gonna compare them to the. Oh, by the way, I do not have Mr. Fantastic, only because, not for the lack of trying, but it's just that I'm waiting to get him, so I don't have him. I'll get him. I think he's a pretty common figure. So yeah, let's compare him to the other previous releases. Okay, so here we have the previous Thing release from Hasbro for Marvel Legend, and as you can see, the head is more frowny, and yeah, I don't entirely love the head, especially the eyes. He should be blue eyes, but it's kind of hard to see his eyes. Let's see, he's kind of beady eyes here. But yeah, the same body, obviously. Only new is like, this belt here, which I actually kind of like, this rubber belt. There was another Thing released that was a Walgreens exclusive, which I don't have, but I'm pretty sure it uses the same, sculpt. I think they might have changed the color, maybe. But yeah, so the old version, it's a speck of like a light orange on his chest here and arm, and then everything else is regular orange. Same thing with this, but only this is not as pronounced as the original Thing that I have here. Yeah, so the Thing versus the Thing. Yeah. Marvel team up, Marvel 2-in-1, the Thing and the Thing. Actually, that's issue 50 or something, where he's like duking it out with himself, or actually the old Thing with the kind of like not the head was not as formed or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I actually just love the Thing. I do have the other Fantastic Four figures, previous release. I don't know where it is right now, but I do have them. They're not as good as the this new version, just because I feel it's more comic book accurate or comic book inspired versus the previous version, which is kind of like more like a modern take on the Fantastic Four. I actually haven't followed the Fantastic Four, so even if they told me that's the latest costume, I wouldn't really know. But yeah, but I know this costume, which is a classic blue and white with the the Four logo. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. I am gonna collect this whole line. I'm very happy with this Fantastic Four line, and if there's a wave 2, especially if they have very interesting villains, I'm very interested in picking it up. Especially if they release maybe a Galactus version. I know they Hasbro Pulse did a massive Galactus crowdfunding thing, but I'm more interested in something a little more manageable like this, like the High Evolutionary. I've always thought High Evolutionary was much taller, but he feels like he's just a regular, 7 foot, 6 foot guy kind of guy. But yeah, I always felt that he was much taller, like just bigger. Maybe just my imagination from the comic book, but yeah. So if they made Galactus not this size, but it's maybe slightly bigger, I would be happy to own it. Like maybe much bigger than this figure here. What else? Yeah, any Kirby design, actually, any Kirby villain, I would love to see in Wave 2. Maybe even throw in She-Hulk, since she was kind of like a Fantastic Four member. Because of there's a She-Hulk television show that's coming out, so that kind of makes sense to kind of add that in this Fantastic Four line. I think that'll be kind of cool. Maybe they can have Fantastic Four from, the 90s, or, Fantastic Four from, so on. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of endless what they can do with it. Yeah. So, that's it.